All right, welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock. Colin Cowherd is out today, so we decided to upgrade in a major way. The co-host of The Herd, Christine Leahy, is here. We're also joined by Chris Broussard and a good friend of mine, Mike Tyson's former manager, John Horn. Let's start with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, who came face-to-face yesterday at the press conference of their four-city pre-fight tour. Not surprisingly, there were a lot of fireworks.
He's in a tracksuit. He can't even afford a suit anymore. He is There's no other way about it. His little legs, his little core, his little head. I'm gonna knock him out inside 4 rounds, mark my words. How's this suit look? It's a cracker. An August McGregor line. I've got my own line of suits coming out. If you zoom in on the pinstripe, it says you.
I don't give a if it's a ring. I don't give a if it's an octagon. Put me in there and I'm gonna kick ass.
Don't be talking. You do give a if it's an octagon.
Let me show you what a $100 million fighter look like. Still got $100 million and then he never touched it.
That's to the tax man.
Show up and I'm gonna do the rest.
I'm here right now.
You can get it right now. You can get it right now. You can get it right now. You can get it right now. Talking that y'all already know I ain't back down for no body. And August 26th, I'm gonna knock this out too.
I haven't knocked nobody out in about 20 years. Dance for me, boy. Dance for me, son. Dance for me.
All right, some people were up in arms over that last comment from Conor McGregor and Conor McGregor's general attitude, including actor Michael Rapaport, who tweeted, quote, "When McGregor is cocky and arrogant and disrespectful, it's deemed fun and playful. When black athletes do the same, it's obnoxious and careless." I think Michael Rapaport, a friend of mine, I think he's off base here. I think that in boxing, this is par for the course. Mike Tyson threatened to rape an opponent. Mike Tyson threatened to eat your children. Muhammad Ali called Joe Frazier a gorilla. A lot of things in boxing get said, in a fight get said, that are really inappropriate, really push the envelope along racial lines. I don't think Conor McGregor is getting a free pass for his trash talk. I just think his trash talk is a bit more extreme than what we're used to seeing in traditional sports and even extreme in boxing.
Well, Rapaport wasn't talking about boxing specifically. He was talking about athletes, and I do think there is something to what he said, and I don't think that's necessary. Excuse, did I say Rapaport?
Yeah,
Michael Rapaport. I do think there's something to what he said. When you look at athletes as a whole, that a lot of times black athletes are criticized for being classless or obnoxious, whereas white athletes sometimes get a pass. In this situation, I mean, that press conference is entertainment. That is a complete show. That is not a normal press conference at all. And I relate it to a car accident. When you're driving by, you probably shouldn't look at it, but you do because you can't help it. So when it's like this type of thing, you can't pick and choose. If we're gonna accept this entertainment and these kinds of words being exchanged between each other and watch it, we can't pick and choose where to be politically correct. And so in this situation, I didn't have a problem with it.
I mean, Floyd was vulgar too. You know, I mean, they both were going at it. Look, I would rather go back to a day where we could have a press conference and there wasn't the cursing. I mean, you go back to the Ali press conferences. Yeah, he was insult Joe Frazier and George Foreman, but no cursing stuff. That's just where we've gone as a society. I mean, whether it's the music we listen to, it's all vulgar, so you can't expect it to be different when it comes to fighters. They're not politicians. They're not lawyers. These dudes fight, so it is what it is.
Well, I like to say this. These guys, we're looking at it as a show. And what makes it so unique and so entertaining is they're for real. We got to fight. This is no game to Conor McGregor. This is no game to Floyd for real. They know people want to be entertained. We finally got to fight. And what you've seen out of Conor McGregor is something he's been holding in and can't hold no longer. Boxing is not commercially endorsed the way other sports are across the board. So things that they don't, the boxing games and their unique personalities is what's coming out right now. There's very few things that they have to abide to as opposed to other athletes most of the time. And right now we're just at the brink of, these two guys really want to get at each other, and Conor McGregor is the guy who they want to get Floyd.
But if this is real and everything, and I do believe that there is a difference for boxing and for other sports. There really aren't that many rules in how you're supposed to handle yourself in a press conference or penalties for it. But Floyd, and I'm really interested to hear your answer on this, when Floyd held up that check and said, this is what a $100 million check looks like, and I haven't even cashed it. Checks expire. That's not real.
Well, what you probably don't understand is this. Floyd's in a unique situation. That check to Floyd Mayweather comes from Mayweather Productions. So either way, that money's in his account, okay? And that's Floyd's money.
Not real.
Okay, so don't worry about that.
He's
missing no interest, no nothing like that. He wrote a check to himself. He's gonna hold it as long as he wants to.
Floyd
pay it to
did
the
go
IRS.
beyond reality. Like he said, he don't care if it's an octagon.
Yeah, that was
He's not getting in the octagon.
And
I don't even think the 4-ounce gloves with his hands as brittle as they are, no, he needs the 10-ounce gloves. So I think he did go outside of himself a little bit yesterday.
I agree with you. I just wanted, John, you said something. You buy what Conor McGregor is doing and Floyd. You think it's coming from a real place, and these just aren't the two greatest showmen we've ever seen in sports showing out. You think there's real animus? And
no, Conor McGregor and all of his people, the ones who love him as an MMA fighter and the ones from his country, they want him to beat Floyd as quickly and as bad as he possibly could. And the world, so far, from all the analysts, are saying he doesn't have a shot. And he is so far removed from where they got him that it's a train wreck that can't get there fast enough. I personally believe that the man's a professional fighter. I believe he has a will that is not going to be broken easily. And because of Floyd's style, he's ready to put on a show that he hasn't put on in a long time, and Conor is going to give him the chance to do so the way he fights. We got to fight. And that's what I like about it. And I don't think Conor thinks this man belongs in the ring with him. And most people don't believe he belongs in the ring with Floyd. And it's going to take 4 or 5 rounds. And no, MMA fighters are one thing for sure. They are willing and can take a whooping. So no matter what, he's not going nowhere easy if that's the case. And the game of boxing may change completely if he has a chance to win this fight. Floyd has to win this fight.
If you're a NASCAR fan, there's a new podcast for you to subscribe to. Heritage Road, the podcast that drives you down memory lane, takes you under the hood, and gets you behind the wheel of America's favorite racing competition. They talk to the hardworking drivers, crewmen, and fans that made NASCAR possible then and now. From NASCAR royalty Bobby Allison to the broadcasters that brought racing into homes around the country, they've got all the stories you've probably never heard before. Hosted by the voice of Texas Motor Speedway, Rich Phillips. Brought to you by Busch, the beer that has supported racing since 1979. Subscribe to Heritage Road today for free wherever you listen to podcasts. Now let's get back to the show.
while the press tour continues today in Toronto, you can catch it on FS2. If yesterday's action is any indication, the rest of the world tour should be pretty explosive. After all, McGregor showed up with a suit covered in FUs, and the F-bombs weren't just on his clothes.
I couldn't hear anything that was dead. He's in a tracksuit. He is Nobody can do nothing up here to me. I can do what the I want up here. I've got my own line of suits coming out. If you zoom in on the pinstripe, it says you.
I don't give a if it's a ring. I don't give a if it's an octagon. Put me in there and I'ma kick ass.
Don't be talking You do give a if it's an octagon.
All workers what? Well, point to the easy work then. I ain't back down for no body. Let me show you what a $100 million fighter look like. He look good for a 7-figure fighter. He look good for an 8-figure fighter, but I'm a 9-figure fighter.
All right, let's be real. This is a fight between a 40-year-old defensive-style boxer and an MM fighter in his first boxing match it's hard to believe this is going to be that entertaining of a fight. It's easy to believe that the build-up to the fight is going to overshadow the actual fight. I think Floyd wins in a smoke show in 5 rounds. I think the build-up for this fight is going to overshadow the actual fight.
I think so too. And the moralist in me, I admit I am a moralist. I don't like this. I don't like that we're watching these two guys take personal shots at each other and swearing like crazy. And, you know, am I worried that one day these pinstripes are not going to be pinstripes, they're going to be FU down them? You know, it makes me think, how far is this going to go? Because if this is successful and people are watching it, and I'll admit I'm watching it, I'm entertained by this, how far does it go? And do other leagues start to see, oh, wait, we can make money off of this? And that does scare me a bit. Where I understand it is that, as you said, boxing is very different, and it's something that you really have to choose to watch. It's pay-per-view, it's showtime, you seek it out. So it's not like kids are just gonna walk by the TV and see it like the NBA or the NFL, which has to cater more towards a wider audience. So it is specific to boxing, but I do get nervous that if this is so successful, where do we draw the line?
We don't draw the line. I mean, look at our political campaigns recently. I mean, they didn't have the F-bombs, but it was insults. It was talking about each other, playing the dozens.
But sometimes, unfortunately, boxing is in the category of sports. But you got to understand something. Boxing starts where every other sport tries not to ever even enter. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So you're really talking about a different sport. Mm-hmm. So your mind got to be prepared to get entertained by boxing. And right now, you're looking at a collision of something that could turn into a whole different sport in its own. This fight is really, really a defining moment in our lifetime right now. Because of MMA and because of boxing, and what happens because of this fight depends on what happens in the future. It's really not far-fetched to understand. You think people really wouldn't want to see John Jones fight Andre Ward? You really want to think people want to see Woodley fight Triple G?
Of course.
You understand? So what happens in this fight is huge. Floyd cannot lose this fight. And all kind of really, if people kind of come out of this fight and people are talking rematch or anything like that, he's infiltrated already. Mm-hmm. This fight has implications that's way beyond this fight. And for it to be
good or bad thing, if Conor wins, does that hurt boxing or does it enhance it and give it new life?
It may finally really take boxing 10 years to recover if Conor wins this fight.
No, Conor will keep fighting. He will become a boxing superstar.
But from where? MMA. So he never loses that. It's almost like he took boxing.
True,
you understand?
But he'll become a marketable.
No
he'll
question.
Become more marketable
no
than
question.
Mayweather was.
But he will be the one who took boxing completely. For years, people have been talking about MMA taking over for boxing. I don't think so. I love boxing more. I don't believe boxing's going anywhere. But people in this generation, boxing only has one generation. I mean, MMA only has one generation of fans, so they never will take over boxing immediately. But this will put a heavy blow to it.
See, I think that McGregor.
No matter what happens in any other fight, boxing match from this point on, as soon as the winner wins, they're gonna say, "But can he beat the MMA fighter?" It goes in a lot of different directions depending on what happens in this fight.
McGregor, if he were to win this fight, I don't think he would go back to MMA anytime soon. Well, because the money to be made is in boxing. Then it would be Canelo or Triple G. And that would be even
But where do you build
money.
Your foundation to become that boxing star?
Exactly.
He's talking about creating a different path through the MMA and making the MMA. That's where the best combat sport is, actually. The best fighters are in MMA, not in boxing. If Conor wins.
So it might take boxing in its pure form back 10 years, but do you think that it will help? I mean, boxing is struggling right now. Will it help promote it?
The impression that boxing is struggling has been going on for 100 years now. And why? Because one thing it doesn't have the other sports have, as we know, is guaranteed schedules every year. If you look at the NBA or anything else like that, you know, you can talk about Cleveland, you can talk about the Warriors,
right.
all you want. But you still got, the Nets play 82 games, every other team in the NBA because they got that guaranteed schedule. So boxing is really no different. You got 2 or 3 guys that really matter to the sport, and they got a lot of fillers in there. Mm-hmm. So it's really no different. The boxing's not going anywhere. It's just going to have to wait their time until the right fights come along with the right fighters, and we've been having this conversation for the last 50 years.
But they can't get the right fights, and that's the problem.
No, it's difficult to get the right fights. It's difficult, and if the right people involved, they can get them. Well, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
All right, welcome back. We're joined now by Fox NFL analysts Mark Schlereth and Greg Jennings. Let's move to the NFL and Joe Montana, who weighed in on another former Niners quarterback yesterday, Colin Kaepernick. Montana took a page out of my book comparing Kaepernick to Tim Tebow and saying he's out of work because of his poor on-field performance and his distracting behavior, explaining that in the NFL, you have to have people fighting for the same thing and willing to put in the time. I think this is the kiss of death for Kaepernick's career. There's no greater authority on NFL quarterback play than Joe Montana. He analogizes you to Tim Tebow, I think, in the most accurate fashion. I think, again, I don't think you can go after Joe Montana's character. I know Joe a little bit. He played in Kansas City for a couple of years. You're not going to convince me or rational people that Joe's got a problem with black people or black teammates or anything like that. This is a dagger for Colin Kaepernick. I think he's toast.
I don't think this is the kiss of death for Colin Kaepernick. I think Joe Montana obviously is very well informed. People listen to him, but we've already seen his future, and it's not going to depend on what Joe Montana did or didn't say. People are deciding, hey, if you combine the fact that he is not a great quarterback with the fact that he does bring distractions, that does not equal person we want to have on our team when there are other backups available.
I'm with you, Christine. When we talk about a player and someone else weighing in on whether or not they can still play or can't play, that's beyond the point. It's what have you done on the field. And when we look at a Colin Kaepernick, for his career, he's below 60% completion percentage at a quarterback position where you have to excel at being accurate, throwing the ball down the field. Read option is no longer an option. That's where he's best suited. That's where he thrived. And when it came on, it shocked everyone. I was on the field when he had the unbelievable performance when we were at Candlestick Park, and he just ran all over our defense. It came as a shock. Once teams know what you do and they can identify that, they're going to take it away. And then on the flip side of that, it's just simple pros and cons. If I'm a GM or owner, I weigh the pros and the cons. Does he make my team better? How does he influence my team as a football organization and as a football team moving forward? And what does he bring with him? His cons outweigh the pros, and so I can't bring a guy like that into my organization.
100% agree with you. And I think there's so much more to the Colin Kaepernick story. And you're 100% right. That read option stuff, see around sometimes. You know, I look at quarterbacks and everybody says they want to spit numbers in my eyes. Like, oh, well, last year he was 60% completion and, you know, he only had 4 interceptions and, you know, on all this garbage because you don't know what you're looking at. And the bottom line is, you can't operate that offense in this league and sustain it. It's impossible. By the way, under Chip Kelly, yeah, he did put those numbers up. In that janky high school offense that Chip Kelly runs, yeah, he did put some numbers up. You know who else put numbers up? Who was the cat that left Philadelphia and went back to the Los Angeles Rams? Who was that? The guy, Nick Foles. Nick Foles. Couldn't play dead in a Western, right? But he put up 32 touchdowns and 2 interceptions or something crazy, 27 touchdowns under Chip Kelly's offense. Let me tell you something. The Wildcat is gone in the National Football League. Why? Because defensive coordinators go, oh, okay, that's what you guys are going to run? Let me call my college buddies. Let me figure out how to defend this. And guess what? That thing went the way of the dodo. It is extinct. It is not here anymore because it's janky and it doesn't fit. And lastly, I'll say this. If you're going to hire Colin Kaepernick, and you're 100% right, Greg, like my backup quarterback can't have all the attention. Right? It can't be a distraction for us. But you're really asking us as an offense, if you and I are on a pro-style offense, you're asking you and you're asking me as starters to learn 2 different offenses. Here's the offense that our starter runs, God forbid our backup comes in because we have to change. There's 10 guys that have to change offensively for this guy to be successful. Why am I going to bring that in? And then ultimately, as an owner, you're going, okay, I hear from my fan base doesn't want him in. He's a distraction, or at least a perceived distraction. My fan base is saying, I don't want him in. Why am I going to spend the money on that when I'm a business person? I'll make the decision to go, hey, I can find another junky quarterback that plays a pro-style offense. Hey, the league is littered. The streets are littered with guys who can't play that have jobs. I mean, they're littered with that. As long as you fit into our little, into our little platform, you can work here.
I'm going to expand it beyond football and make an analogy to my industry. And a lot of guys and women that I respect have been let go in my industry because they don't fit what's going on right now in the sports media industry, particularly from the print background. I was someone lucky enough that I could be a radio broadcaster. I could be a TV broadcaster in addition to being a writer. That has allowed me to remain employed in an industry that's shrinking. And again, what Kaepernick and any quarterback or any player in the league has to be able to adapt to what the league values at the moment. And for a long time, the league has valued a quarterback who can play from the pocket. He knew that coming into the league. There have been a bunch of guys that ran in there, RG3, I'm so fast, I'm going to change the league. And there's been a lot of people sitting back going, this league don't change, man. Right. And you're not the guy. And right now we got Cam Newton, the biggest, strongest guy we've ever seen. He may not be able to change it.
I know one thing, real quick. I picked up a fumble once my rookie year. I picked up a fumble once. Let me just tell you. And I thought, man, I was going to score because I could run. I was covering kickoffs. Picked up a fumble. Of course, the guy that created the fumble was the guy I was supposed to be blocking and hit the quarterback. So there was two guys rushing the quarterback, me and the guy that I gave the sack up to. Ball popped up in the air, caught it. Nothing but green grass in front of me. I thought, I'm going to score. I took about 3 steps. Mike Mayweather hit me in the chin. About knocked my teeth out. The only reason I didn't fumble is because 4 other guys hit me at the same time. I was laying at the bottom of a pile. And I said, note to self, you're not an athlete. Don't ever do that again. I mean, the ball attracts a lot of attention. And these quarterbacks, I don't care how fast you are, I don't care how quick you are, you cannot survive in this league in that style of offense long term. There's a reason that Peyton Manning plays for 17, 18 years, that Tom Brady plays for 17, 18 years, that Favre and Rodgers are playing the way they're playing. Because, man, they know how to get rid of the ball and they know how to play from that pocket.
All right, welcome back to the show. Chris Broussard is back, and we're joined now by the founder of the big league, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to the NBA, where reportedly the Knicks and the Rockets are working on a trade that would send Carmelo Anthony to Houston. If it happens, Carmelo would be reunited with his old coach, Mike D'Antoni, but D'Antoni said recently that he quit the Knicks in 2012 because of Melo, who told the team they had to choose between him and the coach. I think it's a bad fit for Houston. You got a ball stopper in Chris Paul, or not stopper is the wrong word, but a ball handler, ball stopper in James Harden, and now another ball stopper in Carmelo Anthony. Bad fit.
On paper, does this seem like it'll work? Absolutely not, because as you said, they all like to have the ball in their hands. But I also look at, these are all guys who kind of are scorned. You have Chris Paul, who was in a bad situation, wants to do everything he can to make it work. Same thing with Carmelo. James Harden knows he's going to need some help if he wants to get any further in the playoffs. So I think when you have a chance to win, you're willing to put aside some things. When you don't have a chance to win, that's when you're like, you know what, then it's going to be all about me. I'm going to pad my stat line so I can get myself in a better situation.
The problem is not the trio of Harden, Paul, and Anthony. I like that trio. If Greg Popovich was the coach, I'd be like, yo, that's great. The problem, and I like Mike D'Antoni. I voted for him for Coach of the Year. He won it. But he does not adjust.
No.
And it's one thing to bring in Chris Paul, who's different from Mike D'Antoni's style in that he's a big-time mid-range shooter. But now you're bringing in another guy who does not fit your style, Carmelo Anthony, who wants to play in the mid-range. In New York, the problem was D'Antoni wanted Melo to space out the three-point line, and Melo just kept inching in to his sweet spot on that wing near the elbow. And I just, if Mike D'Antoni would change his coaching style, I think this could work to a degree. They're not going to be Golden State, but it could work to a degree. I've yet to see him do it. Didn't do it in New York, didn't do it in L.A. What's to make us think he's going to do it now?
You like to think I'm a pessimist, Chris, but I'm going to be a full optimist here on Carmelo Anthony. I believe he's 33 years old. This guy's played 14 seasons. He has 3 playoff series wins, guys. That's it. You think legacy for Carmelo Anthony, it's like Syracuse.
I think Hall of Fame.
Okay, Hall of Fame as well. But, again, 3 playoff series wins in his career. I think he's willing to say, you know what? This is James Harden's team. Chris Paul's the second-best player. I am going to humble myself on Carmelo Anthony. I'm going to go and do what Kevin Love did in Cleveland and Chris Bosh in Miami, and I'm going to listen and go sit in the corner and shoot threes. And I think Carmelo is going to be grown up. Well, he has to be. This is James Harden's team.
What we're going to get is some juicy stories coming out because you know Carmelo and CP3 talked about this before Chris went to Houston, and now they're playing against D'Antoni. D'Antoni probably doesn't want Melo, so there's going to be some juice coming out of this.
Well, what is Daryl Morey? Look, I like Daryl Morey. He's created some great, opportunities for this team, but it seems like he's just grabbing up talent regardless
out
of
later,
the fit.
right? Yeah.
Lala won't be happy based off of the rumors. I will take out stock in treasures in Houston if Carmelo goes there. Let's move to last night's MLB All-Star game on Fox, where Robinson Cano's 10th inning home run gave the American League the victory, but the biggest winners were the fans. Baseball put on a great show with antics like Nelson Cruz having his picture taken at home plate and the broadcasting innovations like the in-game interviews with players on the field.
We check in with Bryce Harper out in right. Hi, Bryce.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Are you going under shirtless out there in right field?
I got a shirt under there, but it's pretty low.
What's your mechanism for getting ready just before a pitch is thrown in right field?
Right now I'm working with Charlie Blackmon, looking over at him, seeing where he's playing these guys, and vice versa.
If Carlos Martinez keeps throwing like this, you can basically sit down out there in right field.
Hey, don't say that. You're going to jinx us.
Look, I don't think in any way this undermined the integrity of the Baseball All-Star game. It's an exhibition. I love the access. I thought for most sports fans and for myself, I even liked Bryce Harper talking about Dak Prescott, showed the personality. I thought they put on a great show last night.
Yeah, it's an exhibition game. And do you want us to call it like it's every other game? No, you got to have some fun with this. I think that it's no secret the players, there's so many games in a season. The players even get bored. They don't want to be there sometimes. So the fans feel the same thing. So why not have some fun with this? At the end of the day, this is sports. It's entertainment. Let's have some fun. And that was fun to watch.
I thought it was amazing. I really did. I thought Bryce Harper, here's the guy that was complaining just a year ago or so about how, it's got to be more fun. We've got to have more fun in this game. And I just thought that part was amazing. He was great in the interview. He was likable. And here's a guy, Major League Baseball-wise, that a lot of players in the major leagues don't like. They just flat don't like him. And because they think he's somewhat of a show pony and everything else, but he came off as likable. He came off as personable. He talked about Dak Prescott, as you mentioned, obviously a Cowboy fan. I just thought it gave us some insight into guys that we don't get to know, right? We get to see him play. We get to see these feats of, of brilliance from the standpoint of being at the dish or throwing the ball or whatever it is. And you get to see a little bit of his personality. And that, to me, was fun, man. I think that was engaging. It was entertaining.
Except for the Redskins fans who backed the Nationals. They didn't like the Dak Prescott talk. But a big win for baseball last night on social media as well. And I know we've gone back and forth on social media. How much does it matter? But if you went on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything last night, it was something being discussed about the baseball game, whether it was the selfie, whether it was talking to Bryce Harper. And that's the kind of innovation that baseball needs. They've got to reach the young fans. Their audience skews older. I believe the average age is 57, whereas the NBA and the NFL are much younger. So baseball's got to get younger, and stuff like this is a step in the right direction.
I saw a little bit because I tweeted out during the game, like, man, I really like this interviews and Alex Rodriguez on the field. And I can't tell if it was just my Twitter feed, but I got a little pushback over social media. This is hurting the integrity of the game. I think that's the loud minority. I think the overwhelming majority of people, including on social media, Love this.
You know who those guys are? They're the same ones complaining about the NFL celebrations, the diehard fans.
That's
who
me.
like. I know that's you. That's why I brought it up.
That dude, you know what? That dude on Saturday, you can find that dude that complained in black socks mowing his lawn, right? That's the guy that complained on your Twitter feed. That was nothing but exceptional. The pace of the game was great. The pitching was great. I know a lot of people like offense. I love pitching. My son's a pitcher. I just thought the whole thing was a tremendous showing by Major League Baseball, and the access was what, for me, set it apart. Man, it engaged me. As a baseball fan, it gave me something more than just baseball, and I love baseball. I watch way too much baseball, so it just gave me a little bit more.
They're doing the right thing. They've even got this Players Weekend that's coming up where they let the guys put nicknames on their jerseys or their uniforms and have cool cleats. You got to do stuff like that.
Someone should have grooved the pitch to Aaron Judge. We needed an Aaron Judge home run. I would have done that.
Yeah, another Aaron Judge.
I would have done that.